Alrighty, so today we are back with another tier list. The other day we did Easy A TURs, and a lot of people were talking about how I should have waited for Super Easy A STR Broly to come out, which I guess is fair, but, technically we don't even know it's happening yet, so... we're just going to wait a bit. I would assume that he is going to Super Easy A, but that is not the focus of this video. I just wanted to yap about it. Today we're going to be focusing on the summonable LRs combined with LR Easy A's. Now, thankfully for this list, as you guys can see on the top 10, we only have 2 LR Easy A's on here with the 6 years, but the 6 years are the quality of like a new summonable LR, so, you know, you can kind of view it that way, right? Like, I know a lot of people that started new accounts during the 9th anniversary. I was telling them to treat the 6 years like new anniversary LRs. That's how good they were. So, those are going to be the only Easy A's on this list, and keep in mind, just always with the kind of opening disclaimers with these are based on my experience playing the game. I am missing 2 of these characters on this list, but I do have them over on the global side of things, so I have been able to use them an extensive amount at this point, and... Again, it is just my opinion, and it's not to be taken too serious. Again, ranking on a mobile game, you know, you think a character is 6 and I think it's 7. It doesn't matter, right? We're all here for the same thing. So just want to keep that in mind. All my opinion, all just for the sake of conversation, and these should not be taken too seriously. So, getting into this, I want to preface this not with a disclaimer, but sort of the landscape of the way that the game is nowadays. And trust me, this isn't stalling. I'm just trying to get you to an idea, right? We have reached a point with the game where LRs, it's always been dominated by like marquee LRs, but that issue, not even, I don't know why I keep trying to like call it a problem, but that like state of the game, this state of the game where it's LR dominated and you can easily just run a team of 6 LRs now, that has not always been the case, right? It's been like you want support TURs, you want specific things on the team, but now these LRs are starting to give key to the rest of the team. They're starting to give key support when they get hit. They're giving dodge support. They're giving the mega juice support like the trio is giving, you know, stuff like that. They're giving crit chance on their super for the rest of the team. We have been in an era, this is an era where it is like the most dominated by LRs more than it ever has been, because it used to be a team of LRs was not really that good because you would struggle for key, but that is no longer the issue. The superheroes team, you're basically like never not at 24 key, like especially at the start of the fight. So I know that was a lot, but I want to get it out of the way that like, you know, this team, like these summonable LRs and LR Easy A's, these are the best of the best characters in the game. If you want to argue some to be in here that are not on this, that's fine. But again, this is like, to me, this is like my most important ranking out of all the ones that I will be doing. So let's go ahead and get into it. I know that was a long intro, but I just want to give you a general ground of where I'm speaking from. So let's go ahead and get started at number 10. And this one pains me, but we are going to be doing a twofer right here with the new Broly as well as Gogeta. Now, I just didn't want to leave Broly off the top 10. Really, that was kind of like why I put him where I put him. But all in all, this is a very, very, very good character. Both of these two. I think that Broly, the Int Broly provides support, or not support, provides utility, defensive utility to a team that desperately needs it with the Movie Bosses team, as well as the Uncontrollable Power team, right? You look at like the Movie Bosses team, you have a lot of things going on, and especially like 2 slot 1 tanks with Tech Broly. And it is kind of like missing that utility. It's missing like a defensive get-out-of-jail-free card like a Revive, right? One thing that makes the superheroes team as good as it is the fact that we have access to at least 2 characters with a Revive with the 6 years, and then some other things. You got the standby with the Gammas and all of that. It really is just a testament to how good that team is. But like now that we have that with Movie Bosses with this Int Broly, I think it is very helpful. And then Gogeta, I think he just fits too well on a lot of these teams. It fits in like a glove on the Trios team, fulfilling conditions for support. Is also going to be providing you with the team protection for 1 turn with a taunt. I think that the taunt is a little bit too hard to get compared to somebody like Beast Gohan's or who's another easy taunt. I'm having a brain fart here. Just Beast Gohan is the bar, right? There's not many taunt characters in the game, but like we have like the new Trunks. But again, Cell Max has one too, but it's not free. Like if his taunt was easier to get, I'd probably put him a little bit higher, but it is going to take a while before you could potentially see it. So that's why I have him down at 10. But again, this is just a testament to power creep. It's not because Gogeta is bad. It's just because there's been a lot of good releases over the last, 6 months or so. So number 10, I have a tie between Broly and Gogeta. Don't want to talk too long about the kits. I'm sure you guys know how they work. But let's go ahead and move on to number 9. All right, so coming in at number 9, I forgot to put somebody on here. I'm sure you might have noticed the change here in the list. But number 9, I have AGL Jiren. Now, usually I'd like to keep this to global only, but I feel like, you know, he's been out on long enough on JP for guys to kind of understand how he works. And like, even if you had Jiren right now, you wouldn't even have the fight that he's going to look the best in. So it's just kind of one of those things, right? But Jiren, this is one of these characters where he has the standby, right? With that standby, he's going to be like, you know, have that the damage or like the defense that he's going to need. And then once you get out of the standby, and if you have him like linked up with like Tech Jiren, this is a character that's going to be hitting like Tech Broly, like the Easy A Tech Broly, right? Like this guy is able to clear like in a really juice situation, like at the rainbow level, he's able to clear like 100 million without items. And that is a testament to power creep. It's a testament to how good the character is. But with the Universe Survival Saga team, like you have this character, you have UI Goku, we have both the UI Gokus, we have Evolution Blue Vegeta, we have Topo, we have Dispo, we have the Tech Jiren, right? We have 17 in Frieza, we have 17 in Universe 7, in Androids, right? Evo Ken. If you're really desperate, STRUI, right? All these characters are on that team, and he leads them with a pure 200%. So Jiren, this is a great character, phenomenal even. I do like him a little bit better than Broly and Gogeta just because of how high his ceiling is compared to the other two. I just think he has a very high ceiling that isn't that hard to access. And all in all, I think I like where I have him. So number 9 is where I'm going to put him. Let's move on to number 8, and that is going to be Cell Max. Now, Cell Max, this is like I always have to mention this when I do lists like this. This is an amazing, stupendous, cracked out, like one of the best characters in the game, right? Again, this is a very top knit, like, or a very tight, like tightly contested top 10. Almost every single character on this list has an arguable spot. The things you can't argue though are like obviously you can't argue like Imp Broly at 1, right? But again, like the discourse here between like the characters at 1 to 3, the characters at 4 and 5, you can move them just about anywhere you want, and that is why I have Cell Max at 8. But what is this guy doing, right? He is a designated tank for you on teams that absolutely need it. Super bosses, uncontrollable power, movie bosses, right? Artificial life forms. These teams all kind of need his help. Androids, I believe, as well. But like, again, you're really just kind of running this guy on movie bosses and super bosses as well as uncontrollable power. Those are the big 3 teams that you're going to be running him on. And he fulfills his role perfectly as like kind of like that slot 1 tank, and has, I want to say, the highest defensive stat you could possibly get in the game on his taunt turn. And he's invincible. There's no super in the game that can hurt this guy on his taunt turn. But with that being said, the taunt isn't like something you're just getting like, you know, free and easy compared to somebody like Beast Gohan. But this guy does bring to the table what I like in characters. He has team protection, and the slot. The biggest, to me, one of the biggest factors for like team protection is that ability to be a slot 1 tank. A character that you don't have to think about where you need to put him. You park him in slot 1, he's not taking damage. Can this guy take damage later on in the fight though? Absolutely. But a lot of that could be said for a lot of characters in the game. So do keep that in mind. I think this character is phenomenal. The way he works on teams has really good synergy with the movie bosses team, has really good synergy with the super bosses team. This is a character where if you have him and he is on a category, he's a must run, right? Whatever the restrictions are, you put him on the team, right? This is how this character is going to work, and I really do like him. And if you want to move him up higher than 8, I completely get that, but I do like the character a lot. So at number 8, I have Cell Max. Let's go ahead and get into number 7, and that is going to be Tech Ultra Instinct Goku. Now, I know you might be thinking like, what is this, right? I prefer AGL Ultra Instinct Goku over Tech UI Goku. Just because of the turn 1 performance, where especially now with the fight, like if you look at fights like the STR Family Kamehameha event, right, from the Memorable Battles, I believe it is, it's an opening rotation simulator, but this guy is going to perform much better in there, right? Where UI Goku does not have access to a revive, does not have access to guaranteed dodging on turn 1, and then also is just not outputting as much damage as AGL or UI Goku, right? After taking a hit, he does get guard. I will give him that, but like, it's tough, right? When you do get that domain out, like when he is in like MUI, we're talking like this, right? But getting to MUI is not as easy as just like getting to turn 3, right? It is a bit of a setup. You have to work for it. And there's a lot of times where he can get caught. And if you do like Tech UI over AGL UI, I don't think that's a problem at all. So do keep that in mind. I'm not like, hard ragging on this character. I think he's really good. But with AGL UI Goku, what I like about him, again, the guaranteed dodging turn 1, the easy access to a revive. You basically just have it like when you need it, you will have it, right? Most of the time. And when these fights are super, super difficult in turn 1 and gradually get easier because the enemy is like debuffing himself or something like that, it's just going to be an easier experience for you using the character. So that's why I like AGL UI over Tech UI. Tech UI with the domain, it's a whole nother ball game, right? So I don't really want to count that though, because like most of the fight, like if we're being honest, like most of the time you're using Tech UI, you're going to be seeing this character, right? It is way different when we're talking about a domain, right? Like if Jiren was always full power Jiren, he'd be like number 2, right? If Gogeta was always blue Gogeta, he'd be higher, right? But that's just how the game works, right? It's a transforming character, so that is why I have him where I have him. But let's go ahead and get into the top 5. And to round out number 5, I have Evolution Blue Vegeta. This is for the defensive consistency. But one thing, the biggest flaw with this character to me is that first hit. Because if he dodges it, or if he doesn't dodge it, and it's a super and he only has that 50% damage reduction, some of these supers are hitting too hard. It just gets to a point where you really can't work around it, right? And again, like, that's why, like, I know a lot of people, this is just like more to be like funny in my opinion, but like people really do run like 99% Evolution Blue Vegeta so he can't dodge, right? So that way you can get that extra 10% damage reduction on the first hit. There is some rhyme or reason to that. Me personally, I have a Rainbow Star on a character. I want to use it, but I do understand what you like people are doing, right? But again, it's the defensive consistency, the damage reduction that you're going to be having. UI Goku can die to normals. Tech UI Goku can die to normals. Evolution Blue Vegeta, unless his defense is like lowered on super or something like that, he's not dying to normals. And that is why I have him above UIs at 6 to 7. Does it pay me to do? Yes. In my heart of hearts, I want to do this, right? But I'm going to be reasonable. And, you know, I think that the defensive consistency is something that we just have to value because defense is king in this game, right? All of these characters in a situation, like literally every single character on this list right here, except for maybe this guy, are doing damage, right? And even this guy at like 100% is clearing 20 million, right? So every character on this list is doing damage, and it's the defensive utilities that you have that are going to, you know, put them that way. Now, honestly, like I kind of want to do this because I like the easier access to the revive. So I think I'm going to do that. But again, it's more of me just being biased, but just keep that in mind. So coming in at number 5, I have AGL UI Goku. At 6, I have Evolution Blue Vegeta. And then at 7, I have Tech UI. Coming in at number 4, I have Tech LR Broly. Now, Tech Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, I love that the utility that this guy brings to the table as well. We have the 90% damage reduction turn 1, and then we transform him turn 3, and then on turn 5, we use his active skill and get the key. It's all good stuff, right? I think that this character has a lot of potential offensively and defensively that is not hard to access. Having that action break on the 24 key as well as an AoE is very important because, you know, fights with multiple enemies aren't just going to like become completely extinct, right? We are well out of the times where bosses are literally only just one boss fights, right? You know, this isn't the God Event era anymore. This is not the Red Zone Broly era. There's going to be fights, and even right now there's a fight. It's the Blue Zone against, what is it, Super Saiyan Goku and the Z Fighters. There's a 4 enemy fight in there that's a pretty long instance, right? It takes a bit to kill that Vegeta, so, you know, you do have to keep that in mind with this Broly. I do think that it's, his AoE just has a lot of value, and I'm also a huge fan of the action break, right? Like, it's something when you're at the 24 key, it is a little bit hard to get there at times. In my experience using this character, I have struggled to get key at times with him, but when you can set it up, I think that he is as good as anybody. I think he has that offensive prowess. I think he has that defensive prowess. This is a character that I like a lot, and movie boss is 200%. That is a really good leader skill. Leader skill hasn't really been too much of a factor in this video. It really only kind of comes into relevancy here with this top 3. But again, I do like Broly a lot, and I think that he is, you know, I don't think he's going to age out anytime soon. I really like this character. So Broly at number 3 or number 4. Let's get into the top 3. Now, let me preface this on the top 3, right? Before we get into it and before you take the screenshot and say this list is trash, right? You could do, really, I could do this. I could just say there's no number 2, there's no number 3. All of these characters are number 1, right? That's the safe route. I think, do I want to do it? Do I just put all these characters at number 1 and say, you know what, have at it in the comments? No, I'll rank them. So number 1, let's just put them in my personal opinion for order. This is how I have it right now. I think I like all 3 of these characters. You could do this, right? You could do that. You could do any of those, right? But right now, this is the order that I have it. I have the trio at number 3. I have Gohan at number 2. And then I have Beast at number 1. You thought you were out of the era of beast glazing? No, no. Nay, nay. We are still in it. But let me just talk about what I like about all 3 of these characters individually and then explain the cases why I have one over the other. The trio, I think, is the most fun character to use in the game. I think that the support that they bring to the rest of the team, with offensively and defensively, being able to sort of play the game with a different style where you're using characters that you haven't used in a long time. I think that's really fun. I think their leader skill is good. With the Super Saiyans team, you're able to get pretty versatile with the way that you want to line it up. I think that the Super Saiyans, just providing that support, especially when you're running 2 of them at all times, that massive support being up at all times is going to be colossal, right? That is why this character is as good as they are. Offensively, they're putting out damage. They're doing tons of super attacks. Defensively, they have the tank ability. They can, you don't really want to put them in slot 1 on their first turn, but they do get the defensive buff after they take that first hit. And then, you're kind of smooth sailing after that. But they are heavily reliant on 24 ki, which is not a huge issue because they do change orbs. Like, I do need to keep that in mind, right? But all in all, I think that just defensive or offensively, I don't think they hit as hard as, or not. It's not even about hitting as hard because we talk about defense being king, right? Defensively, I think that they have the utility with the standby. Same thing with Gohan. But why do I have Gohan over the trio? I think if we are going to nitpick, I think the way that Gohan just builds up that offense so fast, right? Like, you're seeing additional, like, I've never seen like a character that increases his damage on additional supers as quickly as Gohan has, maybe ever. Just kind of getting the experience using him, right? Where you can open up with like a 9 million attack stat, and then by the time you're on like the second additional super, you're already up to like 13 million. It's maybe even higher. It's pretty wild, right? And the standby at turn 3, along with the Dragon Balls being basically for free, it's super easy to get, right? Then you have that defensive utility, and then offensively, you have the hardest hitting attack in the game after you have that standby, right? When you get out of it. Now, again, offensively, defensively, checks all the boxes, has a very nice link set, being a Super Saiyan, has a very good leader skill like Kamehameha 200%. He is checking all the boxes. But why do I have Beast Gohan at number 1? I like me a character who starts at turn 1, ready to go. And that is what Beast Gohan is, right? Turn 1 is still the most important turn in these fights these days, because you are going to lose more fights on turn 1 than you are going to lose on fights on turn 10, right? The only exception to that rule, I think, really is the Goku and Frieza fight. But again, that is a very rare case of a fight where, you get the enemy down to under 50% HP and their super goes, boom, right? Or like a fight like Red Zone Broly, right? That's a fight that's also harder at the end. But in the modern era of difficult content, I really feel like that first turn is the most important, because this is when your characters are not built up. This is when the things are not ready, right? Your standbys haven't cooked yet. Your defensive stacks haven't built up yet. You haven't gotten a certain amount of attacks in, right? You haven't done a certain amount of dodges. Turn 1 is the most important fight in the game right now with these difficult fights. And Beast Gohan, he's out of the box. You open up your little, it's like a, it's a pizza box, right? You open up the pizza box. Beast Gohan, he's a pizza, like, freshly settled, right? Like, sometimes some of these units are coming out the gate too hot, right? You can't use them quite yet, or some of them have been sitting for too long, and you got to go home and reheat them and build them up, right? Beast Gohan is one that's been out of the oven just for like maybe a couple minutes, right? And you can open it up, you can eat it, it's perfect, ready to go. It's not going to burn your mouth, right? That's why I like Beast Gohan. Turn 1, he's perfect. He's ready to go. The supers that hit the hardest in the game, right? Some of the hardest hitting supers. He can tank a Goku and Frieza super. He eats a Family Kamehameha super for 400-something thousand at the rainbow level, right? A boss crits him, he doesn't care. That's why I have this character at number 1, right? If you want to put him down at 3, go ahead. You want to put him down at number 2, go ahead. That's why I like this character as much as I do. So there's my top 10 for LRs right now. The September 2024 update after part 2. This is what we're looking at. We have Broly and Gogeta at number 10. I couldn't decide who I wanted to put above the other. Number 9, I have AGL Jiren. Number 8, I have STR Cell Max. At number 7, I have Tech UI Goku. At number 6, I have Int Evolution Blue Vegeta. At number 5, I have AGL UI Goku. Number 4, Tech Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Number 3, the Super Saiyan Trio. Number 2, STR Super Saiyan Gohan. And at number 1, STR Beast Gohan. So Piccolo, he's off the list. AGL Broly, he's off the list. The Gammas, I think they've been off the list, but they are off the list. So there you guys have it. My top 10 LRs in Dokkan right now. Probably not going to change much between now and the 10th anniversary, but let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy today's video and found the commentary entertaining, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 10K and we are almost there. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.